Yeah. She's much older, and she's the one who's in charge more. Although the little one is very headstrong. She definitely isn't going to be sat on that one. She was so quiet when she first came to live here. Certainly changed. Nearly there. Just run down that very last bit. And just do a back stitch. There we go. Okay. So here we are. So I've got all my gathers done. And I've ended up with a spool attached to me. Let me just stop a minute and get rid of this spool. Oh, it's everywhere. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to put this on. And what we're aiming to do is get the edge of this ruffle to sit directly on top of the edge there, but just a bit over. Okay, so that you don't see any of those ties at all. We're going to come along and we're going to just stitch that just like that. I'm going to stitch on top of these gathering stitches. Okay, so just going to come along, pinning it all the way. Put in a good few pins because this does tend to move a little bit. Alright, put that a little bit more gathered there. If you find that you've got a bit which hasn't got too much gathers in it, just move your gathers down a bit. That's better. Especially with that front bit on that bib, I want that to look nice and gathered up. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm just coming in like that. Pop that one in. This is going to look really cute. I just love the teddy on this one. Let's come on a bit more. Let's move some gathers down a bit. Okay. Just bring that over. Just gonna have to go and grab some more pins. I'm gonna do that all the way up. There we go, that one. Just grab a few more pins. Keep those gathers as straight as you can. You don't want any bits which are sticking up. You want them all sort of straight coming off it. You want them all sort of just coming just slightly above that top of that line there. When you've got that's a join in there, and that won't have gather because it's too thick to join it, but you don't really notice it like that. Just put up a pin straight. I try and put a pin in this join because the joins are a little bit more awkward and they move around a bit. Okay. Right, so we're coming down here. Like that. That's not enough gathering in that piece. And that was why we sat and did all our gathering whilst we were watching TV, because it took a long time to get it done, all those pieces, and it just sort of like was a much easier way to do it than sitting on the camera trying to do it. It would have just gone on forever, and all you're doing is just pushing the gathers along like this. So yeah, that was why we didn't do it as a video. There we go, keep going. I feel like this is really a bit boring really, but yeah. Okay, just gonna finish off those two gathers there. If you're finding it difficult to get in between those two threads, what you can do is just take your quick on pick and just put it in here, and that will take the two front ones away from the two back ones. Okay, that's something I use a lot when I'm trying to do it, because quite often you end up with them sort of tangled up after you've sewn them. Okay, so just get that rest of that gathered in. Right, I'm coming in now. So that piece on that end is going to be hid away, so that's why I've not bothered to do an end or anything on that side. Whereas with this side, I do want to make a little end piece for it. There we go. So the baby's asleep at the moment, so I'm hoping to get this finished so I can try it on her before they leave. So I'm going to fold this end in once, and then I'm going to fold it in again, and twice like that, and that will just sit in there nicely like that. And then I will come along and I will just stitch across there when I get to there. And you should have a bit of your, or depending on your sizes, you will have a little bit of your strap left over, and that's what you should have on all sizes, so that you can fold that in under like that. Okay, there we go. Right, okay, so we're going to come along and do that side, and now we're going to do exactly the same on this side. Right, make sure you've got your fabric so it's going the right way. Alright, I know if you've got a bit of fox on it, it looks weird and it's the wrong way, but just make sure you've got it going the right way. So we're going to pop that piece there on the end, and then we're bringing this piece in just as we've done like that, and tucking that under there. So the whole of that will just sit like that on the end, with that tucked underneath, and it'll come out like that. So let's put it in like that and tuck that out the way. There, okay. And then we're just going to come up here just exactly the same as we did with the other one, keeping those gathers quite regular. You see where that's poking out there? I don't want that to poke out, so I just want to wiggle that until I get it straight. I'm coming from this side, I think. So you can see that, alright? Gathers down. Don't pull these too hard because the gathers will rip. Your stitches will break. Sorry, no, your gathers won't rip. Your stitches will break. You want them, when you do this side, to come the same as, roughly the same length as the other side. Alright. So just keep measuring that you've roughly got it the same. Yeah, that's not bad. By the time I folded that in, that should be okay. Right. Obviously you can end up with tightening them on one side much tighter than the other, and I have done there a bit. Loosen that a little bit. That's better. You see that's a bit looser on that side than it is on this side. I tightened that one up too much. That's better. I want them to try and keep them looking the same. And then you'll end up with too many going that way, then not long enough to reach the end. That's better, I think. Yeah, that's better. There we go. And that one. And that one. And that. The other thing you want to do is make sure that this is laying straight as well. You don't want that coming too far out. I'm going to do 2 rows of stitching when we come to here. One on top of the first row of gathering and one on top of the second row of gathering stitches. There we go. I'm going to straighten, pull that one out a little bit. That's it. if you do find that you've got one which was terribly longer than the other, shouldn't have, because you've cut them both the same, you can trim a tiny bit off the end. Make sure it's all pinned first though, otherwise it'll all come ungathered if you are trimming. Roughly coming up to where that one was, yeah. Yeah, not too bad. And then this is the bit which takes the time on this. This is the actual sewing bit is easy and it takes hardly any time. But the pinning, you need to have a lot of pins because this will move around. So if you don't put in enough pins, you'll end up with it sticking up here and down there and whatever. You know, some people don't pin at all, they just go straight to the machine. And if you want to do that, that is entirely your choice. Right, how are we doing? Let's get this straight. Up here at the end. Get that last bit done. That's roughly the same size. I think I'm going to lay that one directly on top. Join those two bits up, join those two bits up. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I need to just ungather that after I gathered it too much now. Move those gathers so they're even. That's better. Oops, stab myself. Yeah. Okay. Just this last bit now. And that is laying a bit too far still. A bit too far. Gather it down a bit more. You need to have a bit to go underneath. So a bit more. That's about right, and then fold that one under there, and then fold it back around. When you get it underneath, you're just going to fold it underneath like that. That should be exactly the same. Put it on top to check. You can just measure it if you'd rather sit on it. Please. I think that's too much, isn't it? Where's it coming? I'll gather in to come undone again. Okay, let's gather that in again. Gathering keeps coming undone this piece here. Right, and now fold that under. Fold onto that, and onto that. There to that. Yep, that's it. Right, fold that, keep that there. Fold those pieces under. There. Keep that gathered. Right, and that's going to fold onto there. Okay. Right. That feels a bit fiddly. And once you've got it on, you can always do another check just to make sure. Put another pin in there. Another pin just before it. There we are. Just like that. Okay, right. So just check those two. Lay them on top of each other. Yeah, perfect. Okay, right, so we're going to take them to the sewing machine now. So we're just going to come on and do a back stitch. And I'm going directly over where I have put my tacking stitches. And you want to keep it so it's laying flat. Okay, get that pin out. The sewing bit on this is the easiest bit on this. I think all the other bits beforehand, it's taken all the long time. Sticking up just a bit too much there. There we go. This pin is not keeping it. Oh, sorry. So this pin is not keeping it as straight as I want it. So I'm going to just take that pin out and remove that and lay that so that it's actually laying straight. Just there, and then I'm going to do a back stitch. And then just whilst we're here, I'm just going to come across here onto this piece. Oops, I've got a bit of something caught there. Does that come off? There, yeah. It's just the tacking stitches. I'm just going to come across now, and I'm just going to run. So I'm just folding that piece there underneath, like that, and I'm just going to run the machine right along on that hemline there. Go all the way back to the beginning again and come up again on that second hemline, a second tacking line, sorry. So coming from here, I'm going like that. So I'm just going to place that there, keeping all the rest of that out of the way, and I'm going to remove that pin for a minute. Okay, and we're coming up on this line here. Just basically want to go straight over the top of your stitches. This is much quicker because you're not really having to move too much around. We'll do a shorter version of all of these videos, but this is the sew along. So this is something either for beginners or something if you want to just sit and have somebody to work with. It feels like you've got a bit of a companion working along beside you. That's quite nice, and you can just put your computer on and work together, which is quite nice to do. Right, so just break that off, and then we're going to come in and do the other side. So from the other side I'm going to start, and I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. Okay, so that I've got all the bulk is on this side of the machine, but I'm still going to start on that outside side there. Just push that just under. That wasn't laying exactly as I wanted it, so I'm going to just get that in so that it is. There we go, that's better. Right. Back stitch. Back over here. In out. A tiny bit. Okay. Too far there, that's better. Don't be afraid to move it around if you think that's not right. This takes slightly longer than the other bit. The second row of stitches, because you've actually got them laying exactly where you want it. And you can just whiz down through. And then obviously you've got to take the pins out every time. So it just will take a little bit longer. But because you've done that prep, you should get it really nicely. What I'm doing is I'm just coming along, and all the time I'm just looking to see where I want it to be, and I'm just making sure that it's laying exactly as it is, because they do move around the bits of fabric, as you can see. Up a minute. So we want to come down this piece straight. We don't want it bent over or anything. Now on the pattern, I think I've put down that you can do your straps in yellow, and I think that would work really well, especially if you're running really short of this fabric. I think it would be really good to have a piece of yellow for the straps, and then you can do them in one continuous piece. I'd cut mine first, so I didn't actually have, and then I'd had to put joins in it. So if you did do it in your yellow fabric, there's a lot more of the yellow fabric left than there is this this fabric here. So you could do that. I'm just going to come back and do that section to there.